Hi, welcome to Gail's Garden Herbs and More. I had a viewer ask me if I knew of anything for, some tummy problems. Well, a lot will depend on what's causing the tummy problems, but let me go over a few things. I'm out in my garden, but we're going to walk around a little bit in a few minutes. I want to show you a couple things. First of all, and this is going to sound like the simplest thing, but I have talked to other people through the years. It helps me, but other people, there was a guy that I used to work with. He said his son had terrible stomach, was just doubling over in pain all of a sudden. They didn't know what was wrong. And they were going to doctors, and the doctors would try this and try that, and nothing really seemed to help. And then finally somebody told him just drink a lot of water and just keep drinking more water. And they thought, whoever, I don't remember who it was that told him, was kind of goofy. But he was desperate and just started trying anything and started drinking water, and it took care of the whole problem altogether. Now, it doesn't take care of my problem, and it will depend on what your problem is, but it won't hurt, let me tell you. Sometimes your body just needs that water to be able to process. We're all made just a little differently and have different problems. But water, if you really need enough water to help to work with your system. We are made up of 70% water. We need water, or your body's going to rebel. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that can help a lot. Now, I've told you all about, I'm not really sure what it is. The only way they can tell with me is to do exploratory surgery, but a CAT scan did show a very thick transverse colon, and I know that I have some sort of a blockage. I've had it for years and years and years. Well, for many years, something that I used was aloe vera. Now, at first, years ago, I didn't have the aloe vera plant, and I bought these bottles of aloe vera that I ordered, and it helped, but the stuff tasted so bad I almost gagged drinking it. But I was in so much pain, I needed it so bad, and it helped so much. I took it. Well, then later, a few years ago, I learned to, with my own aloe vera plant, how to make aloe vera water, and I have a video on that. I will try to remember to put that link below, but I do have a video on how to make aloe vera water, and it does help me a lot. Now, it seems like I've got to a point in my life where it doesn't help as much. At times it does. Other times it doesn't seem to help. Sometimes you just have to see and try different things. That helped me for years to get through the problems. I'm never going to get rid of what I have until the Lord takes me home. But I need to find things to help me get through the days when it just seems to really act up. So I have found something called Tummy Soothers, and this is from St. Clair's. This is organic. It has slippery elm, cardamom, ginger, fennel, and peppermint. All of those are really, really good to help you. And it does have molasses granules in it. To me, it tastes really good. Now, somebody else I gave some to, they didn't like it, but to me, but then I love herbs. And they do it, I think, somehow with essential oils, but they use the kind that you can ingest. Don't try that on your own with different essential oils, because if you don't know what you're doing, you could really make yourself sick bad. So you need to know what you're doing before you ingest those. But these are good. I mean, you can give these to kids. My little granddaughter uses them. It helps her tummy problems sometimes. And they taste so good. My granddaughter would eat them like candy. I have to, just dole them out a little bit here, and her mama does too, I think, because they really do taste good. But yeah, they're, you put it up there, you can see. They're tummy soothers. Now, this is a little thing, a little metal case that I keep them in my purse, and everywhere I go, I take them with me. I'll show you. I'll just, take them because they taste good. I don't know if you can see that, but they're just little, I think they call them pastilles. I won't eat them right now because I'm talking to you, but Yeah, they are really handy. Now, another thing too that my daughter does, and she gave me some. She was selling Young Living for a while, and she would take the ingestible type of peppermint oil and put it in these little gel caps, and that really helped one of her daughters. And my health physician that I went to several years back, I can't afford to go now, she suggested that too, because if you put them in those gel capsules, they get past the stomach acid and get down into the actual intestine area where it's released, and it really does seem to help. Um, those are good too. They're matter of fact, let's go in the house and I will show you what that looks like. I'm just out in my garden right now. I love being out here, even to talk to you, because I just love being out here. So it's kind of dark in the house, and coming out of winter, you want to get out as much as you can. And my Chihuahuas wanted out this morning too. So that's why I'm out here in the garden. I thought I would just start my video here, but let's go. I want to show you a couple things. Okay, we just took an old jar that was clean. I wrote on it what it was, and she put some in here. We keep it in the fridge. It keeps it fresh that way. So you just put the peppermint oil into the little gel cap, and yeah, and when your tummy really gets to hurting, you can take that. And some people that really helps one of my granddaughters a lot. So, but remember, you have to have the type of essential oil that you can ingest, not just anything you buy out of the store. So that's very, very important to know. And you can't do that with all essential oils, but there is specific that you can. So don't forget to grow some aloe vera plants. These have had a rough go during the really cold month or two. And then in the summer it gets so hot and no rain here. I don't know how these are still alive. And I'm sorry it's kind of messy. It just rained and wind last night. And I had many more that did die. This one's almost gone. Plus, when my chickens were running in the yard, they were scratching them out and eating them. So, this one really suffered over here. It must have got colder. They'll come back out of it, but I'm going to have to take care of them. So, and then like I said, I will link that video on how to make aloe vera water, because it really, really does help. This one up by the house fared a little better. It's still, the tips are kind of rough on it, but I really don't, I worry about how much nutrition or whatever, because it's just in that pot. In the ground, they get a lot more stuff. So, but that one's actually kind of pretty there. Except it's a little dilapidated right now from the weather. But aloe vera is a wonderful, wonderful plant. Okay, a couple other things. And I talked about this in my Helping the Gut series, but the castor oil pack, where and I get it's like the good stuff, not the cheap stuff, but the stuff doesn't have all the chemicals in it. And you rub your tummy with it, and then cover it with a towel, like a tea towel or something that's thin, and then put a heating pad on top. You want to keep the oil from getting on the heating pad, or it'll stain it and make it sticky and gooey. So I also usually put like a grocery bag over it to protect it too. So, and you put that on your tummy at night for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes or so, and let the heat just kind of push it in. That didn't help me as much. I've heard of other people that it helps. There was times that I think the heat helped more than anything on my tummy. So sometimes I just lay a heating pad on my stomach, and that helps it sometimes. Sometimes it's just a combination of things, and I think I have a couple different things going on inside. So something I'm going to try, and I can't think of the name of it right now. I've got to go research it again. But it's taken from the silkworm, I believe from their cocoons. I'm not sure. I need to do a little more study. It's the only thing I've found that actually may get rid of scar tissue on the inside of you. And I believe I have a lot of scar tissue that's built up over the years, for the last 30 years or so. Actually, almost 40 years. And I think I'm going to have to find something because it's getting a smaller and smaller area for the food to get through, and it hurts me to eat a lot. It's just hurting a lot more. So I'm going to try to get some of that. There's a possibility you may have scar tissue of some sort built up in there. I've never had surgery or anything, but I had an injury in there, and I think that might be some of the problem. I'm just guessing because I can't do the surgery. I can't go underneath the anesthetic. But yeah, there's just so many different things. I may talk more about that later after I try it and see if it helps. They said the more scar tissue you have, the longer it takes. So I may have to take it for a long time because I think my scar tissue is pretty thick and has been building up for years. But at least maybe it'll open it up a little bit where I'm not so uncomfortable. Like I said, it all depends on what's causing your pain. But these are a few things that you might look into. Also, food sensitivities. There may be some foods that are really bothering you, and there are certain doctors that can tell you what it is you're sensitive to. I went to one where he could tell by putting some of that over the top of me and how much pressure my hand did when he was pushing against it. He could tell. I would just try to hold a steady pressure, and he could tell. And one of the things he told me was I had a sensitivity to wheat, which I already had kind of figured that one out because when I eat regular wheat bread, I tend to have more pain. Now, sometimes if I haven't eaten much for a couple days and I have one piece or here or there, a biscuit or something, it doesn't bother me too much. But if I start eating it every day, it starts, I guess it builds up in my system or something. I don't know what it is, but I definitely have a sensitivity to that. He thought I might have it to milk too, but I've never noticed any adverse effects. That may be an overall time. He said that the goat's milk may be different. He only tested me for cow's milk. But I don't notice anything with that, but I definitely did with the wheat. And it could be and I love bananas, but I haven't been able to have a banana since the 90s. Those things just double me over in pain. I mean, I love the taste of them, but they do not love me. So that's kind of unusual. Somebody said it was probably the gases that they gas the bananas because down in Mexico or wherever they bring them up from, they have these huge, huge spiders that live in the bunches of bananas. And so they gas them to get rid of those spiders. And they said I might be picking up some of that and my system doesn't like it, which makes sense because I don't handle chemicals well at all. For you, it may be something totally different. So one way they say to do that is just go on a fast for a couple days and then gradually start adding in one food at a time and see how it affects you, if it makes any difference. Kind of like what you do when you have a baby, you're just nursing them, and then you gradually, when you start adding solid foods, you only add one thing at a time and make sure that the baby is able to accept it. Same thing for us as adults if you want to find out what food it is that you have a sensitivity to. And then sometimes, like as a kid, bananas didn't bother me at all. So you develop sensitivities over the years. Now, this isn't on the inside, but it's a good example. Poison oak. As my kids were growing up, I pulled the stuff up with my bare hands. It didn't bother me at all. But they say you can develop a sensitivity to it later in life. So the other day when I was in the mountains, I didn't walk over there and touch it because I don't know if I still am not allergic to it or if I may have developed, since I've developed so many other things through the years. So we have just a few puffy clouds in there. It's kind of changing the lighting on my camera as the clouds come over the sun. Sorry about that. But these are just a few things on helping your tummy. Ginger is wonderful. There is a couple teas that I drink. in the evening, because it's also relaxing, I take some fennel seeds, and I always use organic because chemicals are not going to help your pain. But I grind them up just a little bit, and then I mix some chamomile flowers with the fennel seeds and make a nice tea to relax with in the evening. And it helps me to relax, and it helps calm my tummy somewhat too. It's not a major thing. This is just something overall to kind of help. Fennel helps you digest your food, and chamomile actually does somewhat too. But that's something I do. Plus, my chai tea has a lot of things that's helpful in digestion. But another tea that's good when you're sick or not sick, and it really helps my tummy, is ginger, lemon, and honey tea. That stuff, when you have a bad cold, is fantastic, or a cold of any sort, or even when you don't have a cold, it makes my tummy feel good, and it tastes good. So those are just a few things. I'm sure there's more, but I wanted to share some of those ideas to get you to thinking about if you're having some tummy problems. Don't forget the water. I know that sounds funny, but I have to try to make myself remember, and I often forget. On my old phone that got run over by a truck, I had an app on it that helped remind me to drink water. And I don't remember the name of the app anymore, but I probably should find one and put it back on my phone again to remind me to drink water. But I don't want to drink water when I'm eating, right? A lot before, or especially a lot after. I will tend to drink it just before more than I would after, because it dilutes your stomach juices and you can't digest your food as well. It's not good to drink liquids with your meal unless it's milk, because milk turns into a semi-solid in your stomach and doesn't dilute your digestive juices as much. Especially when you're older, it's not good to drink your teas and water and all of that stuff with your meal. Now, another thing, I'm thinking of so many things. Another thing that really helps me is kombucha. The problem is I really don't like kombucha very well. Now, there's one brand called Bucha kombucha, Bucha, but I can only find it once in a while during the year. And it tastes like a soda pop to me. It's delicious. I just drink it like a soda. Most of them I cannot do that. I try the Kivita pineapple, something else is with it. Pineapple peach, I think. That one the taste isn't real bad, but it's so strong I can only drink a few swallows. I will drink a few swallows of that before I eat and sometimes after. If I forgot it before, I'll drink it after. And that really does seem to help me digest my food. Now, that has some vinegar-likeness in it. It's probably why. Plus other probiotics and stuff like that. But the health doctor, good health doctor, she was a regular doctor, but she also went into holistic health. She told me before I eat, about 10 minutes before, to drink, just a little bit, maybe an eighth to a quarter cup of vinegar. I could mix it with a little bit of water or whatever. I can't stand vinegar. One reason I really don't like pickles that well, I can eat a dill pickle once in a while. I have to be in the mood, but I just don't like vinegar. So kombucha is easier for me to drink. I can't drink a whole bottle of it, but I drink a few swallows. That's all I need, and it really helps. And that my kombucha lasts a lot longer that way too, because I don't drink it like a soda pop, unless it's the brand Bucha. Bucha kombucha, however you say it. It tastes like soda. That is the best tasting stuff, but I only find it once in a while, so it's hard to come by. Okay, so more ideas probably after I conclude this video. There'll be more. Praying and asking the Lord for healing, but sometimes that doesn't happen for whatever reasons. I know that the Apostle Paul, he was an apostle in the Bible, and Satan was buffeting him with something. We really don't know what it is. Some people think that it was an internal problem. Others think it was his eyesight. That we don't know. But God did not take that away. Maybe it kept Paul humble. I don't know why God didn't take Paul's infirmity away, but he didn't. Sometimes we live in a sin-cursed world, too. Sometimes we have to deal with things. But sometimes we don't. Sometimes we just need to pray about. There's been times in my life I got so bad with this, and I went into prayer, and God helped me. He took it away for the time so that I could stand it. There's other times I just felt like I couldn't stand it, and I went to the hospital one time, and I knew it had felt just slightly different. And I don't usually go to the doctor. The last time I went was 2019, and that was with this, and they nearly killed me there. So, but I guess I needed to go because it was a blood clot, which had probably been in my brain or something from the accident in 2015. Sometimes they say those clots stick and then break loose years later. I don't know if that's true. That's just something I've heard. I don't know where it came from, the blood clot they said that I had, but I didn't have that unusual, horrible pain anymore after that. So they gave me a shot in the stomach to break up the blood clot, and it thinned my blood for a while. And they couldn't find it, but they knew it was showing it was there. So I don't know. There's just so many different things that can happen. You just, I can't tell you not to go to the doctor or something like that, because see, it could have killed me if I hadn't have went. Although they nearly killed me there in another way, but come see, come saw, I don't know what to say. But anyway, just some different thoughts and ideas on this. And another thing that comes to mind is sometimes your nerves and adaptogen herbs. You can look that up. There's all kinds of adaptogen herbs. They're a type of an herb that you can take all the time. Certain herbs you only want to take for short amounts of time, but your adaptogens are just overall good for you. Tulsi is one of those. But an ashwagandha, I believe, is an adaptogen too. But sometimes those help your nerves, because your nerves can cause you to tighten up in your stomach. I had nervous stomach as a kid because I was going through a lot of stuff. And so it's funny, I had stomach problems then, but it wasn't the painful kind that I have now. It just seems to be a weak point with my system, is my inside around that area. So anyway, yeah, your nerves, if you are really fearful and upset, don't be fearful. Don't be upset. God hath not given us a spirit of fear. So the spirit of fear doesn't come from God. If it's not coming from God, then where is it coming from? You think about that one. And there's the evil side uses people to give you fear as well. Don't let them do that. Don't let them manipulate you in your health. Don't be afraid. Trust in the Lord. Do what you can. It empowers you when you get out and work in a garden, or you put aside enough food to get you through. Some people can't afford a lot, but at least to get you through the week. And if you can make it a month, good. If you could make it a year, good. I haven't been able to store that much, but if you can get there, I have a little bit, and it's helped at times. There's things that's happened where I wasn't able to go to the store, and I had food in the house. You've got a little bit. That's great. But you feel more empowered. You feel more relaxed if you can get out, if you can grow something, if you can have some chickens or rabbits or whatever. That makes you feel even more. It's a type of empowerment that you can take care of yourself, and you're not dependent on the government that is so. I'll just stop there because I don't want to get my channel in trouble. I've heard some channels getting in trouble, and they're not even political. So it was about something else. So I'm just going to stop there, and we are going to close. But I will say, and I cannot stop saying, trust in the Lord. And we will catch y'all next time. I hope some of this information helps.